Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to everyone's favorite talk show, Don't Trust Anybody. I'm your host, Bob Krebstar, and our guest today is Edward Flimmer of Weehawken, New Jersey. Hello there, Edward.
Hello to you, Bob. I'm a huge fan of the show.
Isn't everybody? So, Eddie, have you got a reason for us not to trust anybody?
I sure do, Bob. And it's one you've never had on the show before.
Wow, and after 247 episodes, that's quite a feat. What do you say, audience? So, what's your innovative reason for us not to trust anybody, Eddie?
Well, you see, I've been playing this new computer game, The Beast Within, from Sierra. It's the sequel to Sins of the Fathers, and...
Cut to the chase, Eddie.
Well... Okay, don't trust anybody, because they might really be a werewolf.
Well, that's a pretty good one. It sounds a bit like don't trust anybody because they might really be space aliens from episode 85, though.
No, this is completely different, but you've got to play the game to understand. See, you play this guy. His name is Gabriel Knight, and...
Wait a minute. In Sins of the Fathers, wasn't Gabriel Knight played by Tim Curry?
That's right, Bob. But this time he's being played by Dean Erickson, and none of his closest friends seem to notice the difference.
Well, I think we know what to say about that, don't we, Eddie?
That's right, Bob.
Don't trust anybody!
So anyway, Gabriel's clearing up the affairs of his German ancestors in what used to be Bavaria, when he gets pulled into an investigation of some mutilation killings. The authorities blame the occurrence on two wolves that escaped from the Munich Zoo.
A little international intrigue, eh? Well, that doesn't sound very trustworthy at all.
Oh, it's not, Bob. Gabriel manages to figure out in pretty short order that the zoo wolves had nothing to do with the deaths, and the trail leads to an exclusive hunting club for the German aristocracy. Meanwhile, Grace Nakamura is fed up with getting left behind in New Orleans, and when she hears about the new case, she hops a plane to Germany.
Wow, I didn't think she had it in her.
Well, the first game didn't expand her character much, but in The Beast Within, Grace is a much stronger figure with a real determination to get her way.
She's a major shrew, huh?
In a nutshell, Bob.
So, during the course of the game, you alternate between controlling Gabriel and Grace, right?
That's right, Bob. And it all takes place in the beautiful surroundings of Munich.
Now, Sierra's Phantasmagoria was good looking, but none of it was this realistic.
That's because the sets in The Beast Within are actual photographs from Germany. But even those have been retouched. The palette washed out here, oversaturated there. It sort of gives a vacation slideshow look to the whole thing.
Retouched photographs. What do you say, audience?
Don't trust anybody!
Actually, Bob, it's interesting that you should bring up Phantasmagoria.
Well, surely the comparison's obvious, isn't it? I mean, they're both Sierra products, they're both chock full of digitized video, they've both got lots of CD-ROMs, and they're both horror-paced. And they're released within 5 months of each other.
That's right, Bob. And yet, The Beast Within is vastly better than Phantasmagoria in almost every conceivable way. The script is complex and interesting, the acting's really good, the camera work is good, there's about 4 times the gameplay.
But Phantasmagoria continues to sell really well for Sierra.
That doesn't make it a good game, but it certainly is better suited for beginning adventure gamers than The Beast Within. This is a challenging game and will mostly appeal to experienced players. In fact, the biggest complaint I have about The Beast Within is there's not enough online help to guide you along when you get stuck.
Are there any more cool features about The Beast Within, Eddie?
There are a ton of them, Bob. The storyline takes all this werewolf stuff and ties it up with the history of King Ludwig II and Richard Wagner.
But that sounds suspiciously educational.
Well, yes. You do get a lot of genuine information about Germany and Ludwig and Wagner, but somewhere along the line, the facts are twisted to help the story out, and you're never told exactly when.
Revisionist history. I guess you know what to say to that, don't you, audience?
Don't trust anybody!
So that's why we couldn't trust anybody, is it, Edward?
That's right, Bob.
Because they might be werewolves, and the Beast Within is a lot of fun and a lot better than Phantasmagoria, and it's got lots of nifty German culture thrown in for good measure. That's why.
That's a pretty good summary, Bob.
I'll tell you something, Edward. That doesn't sound like a very good reason not to trust anybody at all. That sounds like a computer game review. And you know something, Ed?
What's that, Bob?
I don't trust you.